Hello, my wonderful people. Welcome to Linda's TV show, and I greet you according to your time zone, anywhere in the world you are watching. If it is your first time and you like what we do here, kindly like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to all notifications so that YouTube will suggest, recommend our videos to you. Here we react to all forms of videos, especially what is going on in Nigeria. And I put a disclaimer that here we do not preach misleading information, hate speech, or violence. We are only here to inform, educate the members of the public about what is happening. I always seize every opportunity to appreciate YouTube for rendering their platform for us to bring this information across.
The video that's been making the rounds, it's a video regarding the performance of the Nigerian army at the 2019 Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, which held in Edinburgh in Scotland. Okay, and that video is really very amazing and entertaining. I mean, I don't know any prosperous north. The Lagos colony was later incorporated into the Southern Nigeria Protectorate for budgetary reasons. This is what Lord Lugard was referring to in his infamous description of how a marriage between the rich wife of substance and means, which is the South, and the poor husband, the North, would lead to a happy life for both. This is what Lord Lugard was referring to in his infamous description of how a marriage between the rich wife of substance and means, which is the South, and the poor husband, which is the North, would lead to a happy life for both. People who follow me on Facebook must have heard me say this several times over, where I kept saying that Lord Lugard actually used marriage to describe the amalgamation of the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate. And this is written in this book right here. It says, but look, he was using his infamous decision of how a marriage between the rich wife of substance. So the southern part of Nigeria, south of Nigeria, which is what they finally carved out politically and started calling South-South, but actually all of us in the South are South people. Both the Southwest and Southeast and what they call South-South, we are all South. What he's saying here is that the rich wife of substance, of substance and means is the South. And the poor husband, in other words, the North has been programmed to be the husband. A poor wretched North is programmed to be the husband of a richer, more buoyant wife, which is the South. In other words, the woman, which is the South, must forever. Can you believe that in 2019, this same description of Lord Lugard played out at the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo? You don't believe me, right? I want us to go to the video right now so I can explain to you what happened. So let's go to where the military had performed and performed so well. And their performance was amazing, like I said when I began. There was something that happened. Suddenly they formed a square, like a fence. And all the ethnic groups in Nigeria jumped into that fence, protected by the military or shielded by the military, and they began to perform. And the performance that took place there is marriage. Let us find out who is getting married here, because the video was shot from a distance. I don't know whether it's on purpose. There's no other official video other than this particular video shot with a cell phone. And I don't know why. But now I'm going to tell you what marriage actually took place inside this video. Watch very well. You will notice that the guy is announcing and he says a marriage is taking place. As he announces it, he said the father of the groom now. He said he called it the father of the bride. But it's actually the father of the groom that went to go and give money to the bride. And kola nut, to the bride. So the kola he gave to the bride went to go and give it to her own father. So when the bride gave the kola to the father, I want you to watch what happened. I'm following it right now. I'm going to explain to you as it's happening. The bride gives the kola to the father. Then the father accepts the kola. And then the father of the groom suddenly meets with the father of the bride. You can see the two of them there. They have met, and so they are happy. So he's accepted for his daughter to go to them in marriage. So the father of the groom and the daughter that they want to marry have now come together with the mother of the groom, and suddenly the father of the groom joins the hand of the groom and the bride together, and that means marriage has taken place. But I want you to go back a little bit because I don't want us to miss anything. Go back. I'm trying to take this back so that you can see when they have joined the two hands together. I want you to watch the person that the woman just got married to. You can see the woman just got married to a Fulani Aboki. This lady you see here is not an Igbo lady. This is a South woman, what they call South. This is our Niger Delta sister, which is what the colonials regard as the South, the rich South, woman of substance and means. Can you see that for yourself? That's why she is decked in some sort of royal apparel. She is decked as a very rich woman of substance. But look at the man she got married to. It is a Fulani man with his stick and his cap. It's not just Hausa, is a complete Fulani man. That my southern Niger Delta woman, rich with oil. So it is saying that the oil of the woman belongs to the man who has nothing but stick and cows. Exactly the same way that Lord Lugard explained it way back in time. As soon as they leave, the Igbo people are brought forward to come and celebrate the marriage. And this is what Igbos are doing in Nigeria today. Where they have gone to do all the game, Igbos come and do the mountain, the noise making and dance around and do all the colorful celebration. They have nothing, no share. The marriage was between who? Between the South and the Fulani. Not even Niger, not even Middle Belt. Not even the other traditional Hausa people. It is the Fulani, and they made it so clear for you to see. Now, as the video is coming to, you can see the other day, you see some other tribes that are behind. As the video is coming to an end, I want you to see where the Yorubas are beating the drums and urging the party to go on. The Yorubas are the ones beating the drums. Igbos are dancing, Yorubas are beating the drums. But the people who really got married are South and Fulani. The next thing that you need to understand that just happened here is, why is it that all the ethnic groups in Nigeria came into a shield and military is the only shield they had protecting them? Can we go back to history again and see whether there's a place we can relate this to? So in this book by A.H.M. Kirk Green, I want to read you something that will shock you that you may never have heard anywhere else before. It says, Sir Frederick has earned the notorious distinction of being the originator of a system of government, the product of his exuberant imagination, entitled the Nigerian system. That system has, in the pregnant words of ex-Judge Stoker, been described as a setback to a condition of things resembling the barbarous ages. A setback. It is a system created by who? By Lord Lugard. And look how he described it. He said, a product of his exuberant imagination. Nigerian system is not in existence anywhere on earth, maybe apart from maybe Sudan, where Lord Lugard also left his footprints. It is not a recognizable system of government. It was created out of the exuberant imagination of a satanic Luciferian, which is Lord Lugard and his wife. Right here, this is it right here. Look at how Judge Stoker described it. He said it can be described as a setback to a condition of things resembling the barbarous ages, those ages of barbarism, resembling back the stone ages. Barbarous ages. In other words, even if Nigeria stays another 300 million years, Nigeria will still be living in the past
because it is a setback of a condition of things here described. This is amalgamation for you. But that's not even where I'm going. The three basic principles necessary for the successful working of the Nigerian system are: number one, ignorance; number two, fear; and number three, military terrorism. That is to say, the perpetuation of the natives in a state of idolized ignorance, the impregnation of their minds with an instinctive dread of the white man, and the reverential awe for the fetish of white prestige, and the paralyzation of their wills by the spectacle of military terrorism hanging over their heads like a sword of Damocles. Okay, so he said, that is to say, the perpetuation of the natives in a state of idolized ignorance. You know, when you are ignorant, then you are proud of being ignorant. That is what is called idolized ignorance. This is what Lord Lugard created. Without this type of ignorance, Lord Lugard's principle says Nigeria will never function unless there is ignorance, fear, and military terrorism. These are the three pillars on which Nigeria has been built according to the amalgamation theory of Lord Lugard. And the next one, he said, the impregnation of their minds with an instinctive dread of the white man and the reverential awe for the fetish of white prestige. Is that not what is happening to us? These are the things they said must be in place for the Nigerian system to thrive. And then the next one, he said, the paralyzation of their wills by the spectacle of military terrorism hanging over their heads like a sword of Damocles. Paralyzation. You see, let me tell you something, my beloved people. The relationship between the Nigerian military and the people is the worst. The soldier, they were throwing stones at the soldier. A Nigerian soldier watching this may not even want to watch it because it is so unheard of. Like they are throwing stones at an armed soldier who has bullets in his guns, and to prove he has bullets, to scare the guys away, the soldier turned on one angle and released one bullet in the opposite direction. The thing did not deter them, and they kept on throwing stones, hitting rocks, even going straight and hitting the soldier, slapping the soldier. And some woman was on the side screaming and calling on them like they are about to be killed, and the soldier never did anything. I've never seen anything like this in my life. But this is how it is supposed to be. Not that soldiers should allow themselves to be attacked by civilians, but this is exactly how it's supposed to be. This same soldier who is doing this, if you find him where he's dealing with the enemy of state, you will be wondering, is this the same person who was so lenient with the civilians? Because the rules of engagement sounds different when he has to deal with civilians and when he has to deal with an enemy of state. But for us in Nigeria, you see, you can blame the soldiers all you want, but let me tell you the truth. These same soldiers you see today, if the system that produced them should change tomorrow, these same soldiers will be the best set of human beings you've ever met in your life. These same soldiers will be the most humane you've ever met. I have too many soldier friends, even the top officials. Our soldiers are dealing with real family issues. When he removes that uniform, he faces his family. Now he thinks about school fees. He thinks about food for the family. He's no longer a soldier at that time. His wife is in front of him. His child is in front of him. At this point, the society should be taking care. That's why I was creating programs to see how we can help our soldiers. But you know, when I call people and say, this is what I want to do for soldiers, the next minute they won't take my calls again. Nobody wants to be involved in anything that will help the soldiers in Nigeria because they see the soldiers as the number one enemy of the society, and the soldiers also look at the society when any little thing happens, boom, very high-handed, and so the disparity is wide. It is for a purpose. You know why? Because out of the three pillars that must make Nigerian system, the fraudulent Nigerian system, to work, the first pillar is what? Ignorance. The second one is fear. The third one is what? Military terrorism. Terrorism here doesn't mean terrorism as in Boko Haram. Terrorism means like terrorizing, like the way you meet somebody and you say this man is terrorizing the woman. That is the type of thing they mean here. Military might. This is what it's talking about. Without the military, the Nigerian system will collapse. Without ignorance, the Nigerian system will collapse. Without fear, do you see how fearful Nigerians can be? It's all part of what Nigerian system was built on. The pillars right here for you. So let's go back to the video. What did you see in the video? All the ethnic groups came together, surrounded by who? Surrounded by a wall, a fence of the military. That is to show you that this ethnic group and this Nigerian of today, the Nigerians in the amalgamated union of today, that the only thing holding them together is what? Military, not constitution, not unionism, not agreement, no, military. And they showed it to you on a world stage for the whole world to see. They showed you the marriage, the amalgamation, how it happened. And they showed you what must keep it together. Military, surrounding people. You know, if you do a drama like that, you're not supposed to be showing marriage between one particular tribe and another minority tribe. No, you're supposed to show a handshake and an embrace to show that the whole people have agreed to come together and live as one. But Yoruba is placed at the back, beating the drum and urging the party to go on. Suddenly after the marriage, Igbo comes forward to come and dance and show everybody that, hey, it was a very beautiful event, wonderful, hey, which is still what each of these people do today in today's Nigeria. And Fulani man came and married oil. That's why you have Ruga. That's why at this time that they are showing you this, the Fulanis by British arrangement are the owners of Nigeria. The Fulanis are the ones that the British have elected to represent them. In another document, I also listed it, how that they said the Fulanis are the final race, the ones who must represent. So when you see a Fulani man, you are seeing the face of the colonial master. That's why the owners of oil and the owners of the land have now returned to take what belongs to them. And they even went as far as Scotland, Edinburgh, to go and show you that these are the owners of the oil. If Fulani married the oil, which is our rich daughter of substance and means, who else do you think owns the oil? That's why 80-something% of the oil well belongs to the House of Fulanis. And then by extension to the British. So you can see when you hear of Ruga and Fulani invasion, the Fulanis know why they are in Nigeria. The Fulanis know the time has come. The person who took them and elected them to own Nigeria and take over Nigeria for them are the British, and they feel that the time has come. That's why of all the military tattoos, it is the one in 2019 that they had to play out the whole amalgamation history and story for you in front of the whole world in broad daylight, and you did not even see it. You see, the system in Nigeria is a problem, but many people always attack the people who are in the system, entangled in the web of the system, rather than attacking the system itself. If you bring a pastor and make him a soldier, he will be worse than the ones that you are accusing and abusing today. If you take Jesus Christ or Muhammad or whatever you worship and make the person the president of Nigeria, as long as the system is there, that person will never be productive. In fact, in 3 months' time, people will raise stones and want to stone the person, because the Nigerian system is something created out of the exuberant imagination of a useless satanic man. So it is not about the soldiers or the president, it's about the system. That's why any man of God or woman of God who is still praying for one Nigeria, you are praying for the sustenance of the evil of colonialism. You are praying to validate slavery. Until this system is crumbled, our people will never know themselves. Now that you know what is here, can you please change your prayer point? Let us begin to work towards destroying the system. And the easiest way to destroy this system, like I've said in most of my videos, is to now bring everybody to a round table. Look at the son of Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Look at Fela's son. I think his name is Sheung or something. The one that sings himself like his father. He said that nobody can handle Nigeria except the British.
How many black people were consulted in the creation of Nigeria? No, zero. Zip zero. No black person was consulted in the creation of Nigeria. Nigeria remains an entirely foreign creation. If British people come back to run Nigeria today, Nigeria will work. You know why? Because they understand what they have done. No black man understands what is going on here.
You can see the guy said nobody can handle Nigeria, that it is only the British that know what they did in Nigeria. That if the British comes back now, Nigeria will work, because they are the only people who know what they did to Nigeria. And then he asked a question: who was consulted? Was there any Nigerian, let alone even an African? No single African was consulted when Nigeria was created. This is a young man who is a musician asking critical questions. What are you asking, you pastor, you bishop, our daddies and mamas? Why are we not asking these questions? This is why we need to crumble the system. Not because we are radicals, but because we are revolutionaries. We are people who want our people to be free. If we don't break loose from this, is documented. I didn't create any of this. It is documented. Look at it. I've shown you the paper. It is documented here. The three pillars on which Nigerian system was built: fear, ignorance, and military terrorism. And how did Nigerian system come? It came out of the exuberant imagination of Lord Lugard. I just read it for you. Our military, as tough as we see them to be, have not gone anywhere close to the wickedness of the Sudanese military. But guess what? When the push came to shove and they saw that the people have already moved, suddenly the military laid down their arms and joined the people. You are the person that the military is waiting for. If we take the necessary step we need to take to regaining our freedom and snatching our destinies and that of our unborn children from the British, the military at some point will most definitely join in and support us, because they are human beings too. They have families. They go through natural things that everybody goes through, and they will never stand by and allow this kind of wickedness to continue. But they are waiting on you and I. And it is time that we need to begin to have a very serious discussion, especially starting from the churches, starting from religious institutions, especially the Christians, so that we can begin now while it is still early, because soon it might be a little bit too late for us to even change anything. May God bless us and give us the grace to wake up and take what belongs to us without any negotiation with the devil. Blessings.
Nnamdi Kanu was arrested for far less things that Shegumi has said, far less promotion that Shegumi has said. But if somebody like me say those things that he's saying, I will be arrested. Go and check all his previous videos. That because I'm now calling him out, he's now worried. Because I've called for his arrest, he's now worried. He does not eradicate all the pro-banditry, pro-terrorism stand he has taken in the past. People like Shegumi, if Nigeria was an ideal society, he should not be walking freely on the street. I have no apology for this position. But because the government is
unwilling or do not have the political will to go after even the ones that UAE gave us their names.
Yes. So what I think is, I'm inclined to agree with General T.Y. Danjuma that they colluded with the armed bandits to kill innocent Nigerians. I believe that insecurity has become one of the most lucrative business in Nigeria. And if you look at that Kogi State General that was killed, General Lee, I think so, they said many things. He was warned severally to stop trying to crush Boko Haram.
That's Colonel Ali?
Yes. That he was warned severally because that was someone that was really after eradicating Boko Haram. But they took him out. Because some people are somewhere making so much money with insecurity in the country. And I believe that government is complicit. Because if there is no way you can tell me that government is not complicit when they are selling gold on the main road in Zamfara. It's impossible. They look at the way these terrorists move freely unchallenged all over the country. You cannot tell me this is a government that has army, air force, navy, ground troops, many divisions, prison. You tell me we have one of the best trained army in the world. One of the best trained. Nigerian soldiers have gone all over the world and have excelled at ground battles. And you tell me that we cannot defeat these people? I refuse to believe same.
Let's look at what's happening in your state. We celebrated Children's Day 2 days ago, and we know that over 30 children are still in captivity, some of them as young as 2 years, 3 years. Government is not bold enough to say this is what we want to do. Do you think, even though government keeps arguing about it, they don't pay ransom, but experiences have shown we will see these people release the people, we don't get to arrest anybody, we don't get to kill anybody. How do they release these people? Is it that we are truly paying ransom? And are you worried about this or your incident?
Yeah, of course. One of the victims, the teacher who was unfortunately beheaded, is our client. We're briefed by the family. We are constantly in touch with the family. We grieve with them. We mourn his passing. Unfortunately, and most regrettably, is that the family have not even been given the opportunity for them to bury their dead. You know, we had written to the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to personally intervene in the matter, not to delegate this matter. A president should act like his president. Should not sit in the comfort of his office, of the villa. Should leave the villa when there are problems like this and go to the battlefront. We have seen presidents all over the world do this. This is what is expected of a commander-in-chief. If not, you are not commanding anything. Even the governor of Oyo has refused to lead from the front. Even the 30 that you said is understated. You can be rest assured that more than hundreds of children will be in custody of terrorists and criminal gangs all across the country, because many of these incidents are unreported. Many. The only reason why the Oyo incident was reported was because the terrorists posted it online. There are so many others that ransom are just collected from the families and their set are freed, and there are others that could not pay. We have just discovered that another teacher was killed in the north, who even after ransom was paid, he was killed. So it shows that there is no credible government in place in the country, and it's indeed very sad. Government must not only speak to condemn violent acts, government must be seen to be proactive, to go after those who are perpetrating these violent acts and bring them to book. That is the only way that the citizens will feel safe. Most Nigerians can no longer even travel by road. That is how bad it is. Two of the greatest fear of every Nigerian today is to be kidnapped. The second is to be gunned down by the police. These are two of the greatest fears of every Nigerian. We just saw recently how a Nigerian who had been handcuffed, who was pleading his innocence in Delta, was shot at close range by the police. Then another police officer had just threatened on a viral video that if anybody records him, he's going to shoot and kill the person. So these are the two greatest fears of every Nigerian. Number one, that may they not be kidnapped. So when Nigerians make that prayer, that may Nigeria not happen to you, these are the things that Nigerians are praying against. That may they not be victims of kidnap, and may they not be gunned down by the police.
You've always asked for the arrest and prosecution of Sheikh Gumi for his comments and statements that you perceive to be sympathetic to terrorism. Do you really think he's a terrorist sympathizer?
Okay. The Terrorism Prevention Act has defined who a sympathizer is, who an enabler is. Someone that defends, someone that justifies, someone that promotes. If somebody comes out and say, but it is better for bandits to kidnap people than to kill soldiers.
Or to kill school children
Yes, to kill school children than to kill soldiers. Paying ransom to bandits is not bad. How else do you describe such a person? Somebody who justifies, who says that terrorists have genuine grievances. That government should, it's only in Nigeria that government forgives terrorists. Terrorists should never be forgiven. And terrorists don't repent. Terrorists do not repent. The only way terrorists repent is when they meet their maker. People like Sheikh Gumi, if Nigeria was an ideal society, he should not be walking freely on the street. I have no apology for this position. But because the government is complicit, that's why people like Sheikh Gumi are still free. That's why they are free. There can be no rationalization for what these barbaric animals are doing to our nation, to what they are doing to little kids. These guys recruit little kids into terrorism. as foot soldiers and as shields, as human shields. So there should be no one in Nigeria should justify. Fact check, go and check all his previous videos. That because I'm now calling him out, he's now worried. Because I've called for his arrest, he's now worried. He does not eradicate all the pro-banditry, pro-terrorism stand he has taken in the past.
He has also tried to say that government knows where the terrorists are and they know them by name. Why do you think government is reluctant to go after him?
I'm inclined to agree with him on this issue. That's why I said both him and the government, they are complicit. That's why government will not arrest him. But if somebody like me say those things that he's saying, I'll be arrested. Nnamdi Kanu was arrested for far less things that Shegumi has said, far less promotion that Shegumi has said. Can you quantify the number of people killed by people that Shegumi has been supporting to the people that have died in the southeast? Can you quantify? Can you quantify the amount of kidnappings in the southeast that has happened in the southeast compared to the people that Shegumi is supporting? Can you quantify? So this is what we are saying, that the government collude with them, because the only reason why these things can persist is because of government collusion. So I'm convinced, and I'm inclined to agree with Shegumi, that yes, indeed, government is involved, according to his testimony. Because of course he will know, because he's the one that takes them to go and meet the bandits.
All right, El-Rufai has been undergoing trial without trial. He's been in and out of court and then without trial. Some persons are alleging persecution. Some persons are alleging justice visiting him. Do you think, or do you agree with those who said he's been persecuted by President Bola Tinubu?
I think it's a mixture of both. In my view, my answer would be a mixture of both. While I agree that it's looking more or less like persecution than persecution, but I also believe that it's karma, some form of karma has come to El-Rufai. Because I wouldn't want to dwell too much on it, because I've just been subpoenaed by the court, one of the courts where he's standing trial. I don't know the basis of the subpoena, but I think I have an idea, but I don't want to talk about it because it'll be sub judice. However, we all know the antecedents of El-Rufai when he was governor in Kaduna. He committed a lot of excesses, a lot. But should that give justification for not granting him bail? Should that give justification for moving him from court to court? Is this not akin to trying to silence the opposition? Bail is not an escape of justice. When a defendant is standing trial, the idea of bail is that he's given bail so that he can properly prepare for his defense. And after all, he's presumed innocent, according to Section 36(6) of our Constitution, that anyone who has been alleged or suspected to have committed any crime, no matter how grievous the crime, that the person shall be presumed innocent. In fact, you are not even supposed to put up a defense, that you can just simply say, I have nothing to say. It is he who alleges that must prove. The burden and the onus is always on the person who is alleging that El-Rufai has committed a crime. But when you now shift the burden to the defendant and you're saying, oh, we will not give you bail because if we give you bail, we believe you will tamper with the investigation, you will escape justice, then the defendant is no longer presumed innocent. So it's on that basis that I agree with those who are saying that he's been somewhat persecuted, that indeed there are indices that yes, El-Rufai is suffering some form of persecution. But again, many people will say that El-Rufai will have done worse if he was the one in the position to do so, because we have seen his antecedent, and there are others who will also additionally say that even if El-Rufai is given another opportunity, he will do worse than he did as governor in Kaduna by persecuting those who he considers to be critics and enemies, political enemies.
Now, we have had children become, why have children become such attractive targets for kidnappers? And what still, how do we make sense of this disturbing irony that some of the actual kidnappers accused of terrorizing communities have gone live on social media to offer cash giveaways, and people have willingly sent in their account details? What does this say about our collective moral fiber and the society that we have become?
Thank you very much for having me. How are the mighty fallen? A country that cannot protect its children is a country that does not care about its future. In terms of leadership, in 2013 and 2014, the current president stated that on issues of security, the buck stops at the president's table, and that if Jonathan cannot, the then President Jonathan could not protect Nigerians, he should resign. Today, this is the legacy that President Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu is leaving for Nigeria's 3 years down the line of sorrow, tears, and blood. But to call Tinubu as a leader a failure will be an insult to failures. It will be a disservice to failures, because this is a kind of failure that other failures look up to and aspire to gain this kind of milestones. Remember that in 2025 June, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited St. Lucia, a country in the Caribbean islands, and gave students scholarship in a foreign land. Meanwhile, in his home country, children are not even begging for scholarship. Nigerian children are only begging for an opportunity to wake up in the morning, dress up, go to school, and come back without ending up with terrorists in the forest. Today, as we are speaking, under the Tinubu administration, in 2024, Nigeria was the 6th most terrorized nation in the world. By 2025, we became the 5th most terrorized. Anti-root, in 2026, we are the 4th most terrorized nation in the world. But you know why our situation is peculiar? The government and the military of the 4th most terrorized nation in the world has a policy that is called Operation Safe Corridor. Under that policy, government gets terrorists that have killed children, mothers, fathers, including military officers, organizes a ceremony for them, gives them a shoebi to wear, and say they have sworn to a holy book and they have now been repented. So the government commits taxpayer money to rehabilitate non-terrorists, while the victims of their mayhem and their anguish are still in internally displaced persons camp, and some with the terrorists in the bush. Nigeria has more than 18 million out of school children. Today, schools are still shutting down because we have made a multinational enterprise out of insecurity, and it will not end for as long as government seems to be complicit in what is going on. If Nigerians do not wake up and we continue to pander and talk about this situation without any tangible solution to ending this mayhem, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody, because as we speak today, a 2-year-old toddler, Christiana Akombi, is in the forest, and guess what the leadership is doing? The president and the first lady are engaging in a campaign for the re-election of this government. It is a tragedy, but unfortunately it will continue for as long as the people permit it. That is where we are. Children have become a soft target. They are taken, they pay ransom, and the cycle continues. Why? Because government has failed in its primary responsibility to protect life and property. A government.
Okay, but Peter, what do you want to say about the people who actually posted their account details to the kidnappers when they were giving monies away? What does that also say about our own moral fiber? Because people have actually posted their account details, and the bandits gave them monies. So what does that even say? What does that say about us as a people?
What are we supposed to do as a people when the government agencies that should be tracking criminals and terrorists are rather too busy going after critics of government? Anti-roots, terrorists in Nigeria have accounts, they make calls, they have medical supplies, and somehow the intelligence. So when you build a system of criminality, when you nurture criminality, criminality will develop and it will fester. That is why terrorists can come live on TikTok. But there are certain conversations we may have even on this news channel. Your safety may not be guaranteed, because maybe the people may see and think that you have become a threat to national security. How on earth are terrorists able to operate before the glaring eyes of the entire nation? And we have an intelligence unit in the military, we have a DSS, but somehow cannot track them. So are we going to leave the terrorists and then come after Nigerians who are engaging with them? What are the authorities doing with the information that they have? What are they doing with the persons that have been caught? We are rehabilitating them. They are repented. The people who may not have opportunities to repent are people like the teacher, Mr. Oyedokun, who has been beheaded on live television. Meanwhile, the people who beheaded him may come out tomorrow and just repent.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Which brings me to my next question. There's a growing perception that when it comes to political dissent or activists, enforcement is swift and coordinated. But when it comes to kidnappers and violent criminals, the response feels slower and less effective. What does this say about state priorities? Because he just said that government needs to be more reactive. They are reactive when it comes to arresting activists. Why doesn't this extend to armed robbers and bandits?
It should tell you where the priorities of the state lie. If you can have repentant terrorists, how many repentant activists who made statements have you seen been rehabilitated and given money? Let me make it clear, ma, that every government is more powerful than whatever criminals or criminal gang that operates around its territory. Whenever you see a government that seems to be helpless in the face of criminality, one thing is sure: such governments are complicit in the criminality. Once you are able as a government to detach yourself from the criminal network and you go forcefully against the criminals, you will not only crush them, you will protect your people. Nigeria is going around in a circle because we are yet to figure out the political wing of terrorism and insecurity. If we fail to end that political wing, the one in the bush will only continue to fester. I have stated it maybe even on this program, on this network. A governor who is an APC governor in Kebbi State came out in the open and made a statement. He said before there was an attack on the government girls secondary school in Maga in Kebbi State, we had intelligence. We deployed law enforcement, including military. They reported to the school. They took pictures with the students and the teachers and were there. Few hours before the attack, somebody gave an order for them to be withdrawn. They left and people came in and took children and killed the vice principal. The governor is asking the commander-in-chief who ordered troops out of that school. Till date, nobody has been able to answer. And then we go ahead and we say that the children were discovered. Ransom was paid. People have benefited. So when you continue to pamper terrorists, a country that is more concerned about taking care of repentant terrorists than protecting its own children. So under this administration, people who are supposed to be leaders of tomorrow are in the forest with terrorists, while the leaders themselves are feasting and preparing for the election. So you will continue to see these shenanigans because we have built a system that rewards criminality and corruption, where integrity and staying by the rule of law may become more problematic for you. People are in DSS detention today for making a tweet about government. Somebody was detained, Justice Crack, he's still in court today for saying military officers should be fed properly. So when our intelligence is only able to go against people who are voices of dissent against government, while government on the other hand, anti-root, a popular Islamic cleric, Mr. Sheikh Gumi, said on national TV, he said government knows where the terrorists are. They know their location, they know them by name. Has anybody invited Mr. Sheikh Gumi for questioning? What answers have been gotten? So what are we saying? Who is deceiving who? Until we end this circle and stop pretending to be asleep, we are all in trouble.
Thank you so much. Thankfully, we have Christian in the house. I always say, better late than never. So, Christian, welcome to Perspectives. Now, I want to just sort of cram all your questions into one because of the time we have spent so far. You were a victim of kidnapping. So, tell us what your experience was like from the beginning to when you left.
Okay, my experience was horrific. It was a road trip from Lagos to Owerri, impromptu road trip. So I was supposed to use God is good, but they had left at the time, so used another public vehicle. It was a Sienna. So on the way,
how many of you were in the car?
There are about, let's say, 7 there, because there's a woman with her kids, more than that.
Okay.
So, on the way, after the Ore, where people do stop to wait by, 30 minutes afterwards, 30 minutes after we are done waiting at Ore, entering the outskirts of Edo State, the gunmen came out of the bush, shot at us. We all were kidnapped. So, taken into the forest.
How long did you walk in the forest?
For so many hours. Like, I can't count the hours, but so many hours. So, in the forest, we got to our final destination. I think that was like early morning the next day. So, Early morning the next day, we camped somewhere in the forest. Day 1, day 2.
Were you fed?
I wasn't fed, but the other persons that were kidnapped alongside me was given just one, like akbu, one to share.
Okay.
Yeah, so although the first of the kidnap, one person was unalived.
Was killed.
A truck driver, yes, that was behind us while we were reversing back. The truck driver that was riding the truck behind us that we hit. So in the forest, on the third day of the kidnap, because I thought perhaps if we had erased the money that they were asking for, I might still be unalive.
At what point did they start asking you to call your people for monies and stuff? Was it the second day?
From the first day.
From the first day?
Yes.
They all asked you to bring out, call whoever you want to call for your ransoms?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a general collective ransom, or did they give each person?
Each person.
Okay. How much were they telling you to ask in your case?
70 million naira.
70 million naira. Okay. Yeah.
So on the third day, because I had sustained injuries already all over the place.
How did you sustain injuries?
Torture.
They tortured you?
Yes.
Why? Was it only you they tortured, or everybody that was there?
I was the person that tortured the most.
Why so?
I don't know, perhaps maybe my size. I was bigger before.
You're still big now.
Not like
nice
before.
and fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, but why did they pick you to torture though? Did you try to? What happened?
No, I didn't come into the forest with my mobile phone. Mobile phone, I left it in the vehicle. So yeah, it was the number I had off and I called. So I had to find a way to go on. They gave me a small handset. That was on the third day, the day that I tried escaping. So to go on Facebook, because I begged to go on the internet to say I'm kidnapped so that people can, and I can reach out to other people too as well. So, which I did, but I sustained injuries. I was fed up. I was tired and all.
Well, you said you tried to escape. So did you run away, or were you sleeping?
On the third day, no, they were not sleeping.
So you just ran off?
These bandits, these kidnappers, few of them went out to front for to a location where one of us, they had raised up a certain amount of money. I don't know how much. So they give them a location. The numbers reduced. So that was where I just gathered one last courage to escape. As I just said, I'd rather die trying than be in their mercy.
So did they run after you?
Yes.
And caught you?
Yes.
And that's when you were injured?
Yes.
Okay. Where was the injury?
My hands and my left palm and my leg. So the leg was cut, or the patella, my knee, cut in two.
Wow.
So it was folded, my bone was stuck out. So there came close, and one of them came close with that guy I don't know what they wanted to do, but they spoke their language, and so they told me to stand up. I could not get up, or bleeding profusely all over the place. Then they left me there. They left some persons in the bush to chase after me. So they went back to those people. So I was left there in the forest. They told me not to leave there. There was nothing I could even do still. But while I was there, bleeding and all, I just was using my back to...
You were crawling with your back?
Yes, with my back. For a few seconds, I will do it. Some seconds, I will rest. I'll continue again. I'll rest, just like that, until later that night, not midnight. Some persons came, saw me with the vehicle. I think they
you had gotten to the edge of the road, at least with this, by the time they saw you from the main road.
The place is like a track road in the forest. Where I took myself to was a track road in the forest.
Okay.
Like it looked like a road that vehicle passed, but a track road. So I was just using my back to go. At a point, I could not move anymore. I was thirsty. I was sleepy. I started counting the stars. So when this truck came with the flashlight, some persons came out armed. I thought that maybe they had come to complete the board. You know, they were asking who am I until it came close. They took me to a nearby hospital, and that was how I started my first operation. Yeah.
Now, I know this is very painful for you to experience, for you to share with us, and I truly appreciate the fact that you made the effort, and I can imagine how it must be for you emotionally. But I'm glad that you're saying the story, so that other people who have gone through this experience will know that they're not alone. So how has that affected you as a person since you got back? What are the things that, you know, worry you now that didn't used to worry you before? How has it changed your personality?
I'm going to say I'll give God the glory, because during the period of I spent about 4 months there about in the hospital, then I could not move, just at the spot. So it was excruciating pain for months. At the point I was hallucinating, I dream, I'm always dreaming and stuff. Then later on, the hallucinations spiked up, or due to people around me, good people that were morally supporting me and all of that. So then I left the hospital in the 4th month. I was receiving treatment at home for like straight 7, it was in total like 7 months thereabout, until I held the crutches for the first time, to start moving with 2 crutches gradually. So that period was a period of just
depression. I can imagine.
Yeah, well, I know I've healed from that, even though sometimes I try to fight. I always do things to keep me positive and all of that, but what it did was just it made me appreciate the little things of life. So not as bothered and worried like I used to be before. Little things of life, although it has taken me back in terms of now I can do with my hands. I can walk with my hand, not my leg like that for now, because I have the leg needs another procedure to enable bending and running and stuff like that, which I'm not ready for now. So I just do what I can do.
If you had to advise the government on how to handle the after effects of kidnappers when they're released, how to integrate them back into the system, what do you think the government should put in place, where people like you can visit and gradually get better? If you had to advise the government, what would you say to them?
My opinion is, firstly, of course, security. Because sometimes I don't know how other people will process the aftermath, because it's like each time you stay, you think that they're coming again and stuff like that. You are going on the road, the flashbacks and all of that. And 2, mental health.
Yeah, mental health, yes.
Yes, mental health. And perhaps keep them busy. Keep them busy with activities, because I would say if I'm not someone that is always trying to do something sport or art and stuff like that, I think it would drain me more than I am now. But I always try to keep myself busy all the time. So I think that's something, maybe recreational activities and stuff like that, and perhaps finance to support them. Because I'm sure many people are still there. The trauma haven't left many people that are kidnapped survivors, and it has affected the way that they do their work day to day. Maybe the way they hustle before is not the way they're hustling now, and some places that they're supposed to go to, they can't go to those places anymore because of the insecurity and all of that. Enable them financially.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Christian, for sharing your story. Can I have Peter back in the house, please? Peter, you've listened to Christian's most harrowing story, and I'm sure he speaks on behalf of a lot of kidnappers who have gone down this road. And the question about rehabilitation process that the government needs to do is also a very personal and strong question that we should ask. And there's also a disturbing video circulating on social media showing a group of herdsmen sexually assaulting a 56-year-old woman on her farm, in the presence of her 2 children. Yeah. Have Nigerians become so dangerously accustomed to a level of violence that should never be normal? And what happens when public outrage begins to fade? So I'm asking you 2 in one questions. What the government should do to rehabilitate those who have escaped, and also what this does to our moral fiber. When after the outrage has come, it goes. These people are killing people, raping people. I even hear that some of them even eat the kidnappers that they kill, and they put it on social media. So, where do we draw the line here?
It is anti-root. Are we a normal people? Is Nigeria a normal place? This is the story of a survivor who, what we are hearing today, has almost become a norm. My brother, my thoughts and prayers are with you. I congratulate you and I celebrate the fact that you are alive. May God keep you so that you can fulfill your purpose in life. Anti-root, are we a normal people in this country? When you say you should talk to government to do the right thing, shebi it is a government that is interested in the welfare of the people that you can talk to that will listen. When you are unfortunate to be led by people who are political businessmen, who see citizens not as human beings who deserve good governance, but as customers for their personal trade, then this becomes your portion. This tragedy and this calamity will continue because we handed over power to persons who have no business being there and who have proven that on the will or the list of beneficiaries, the people come last, if at all they appear there. What he is talking about today as his experience is what a 2-year-old toddler is going through in Oyo State. A 3-year-old boy, Sikiru Salami, is going through this kind of experience as we speak. We may not even know their current conditions in the forest. And guess what? The wife of the president, who is supposed to be, according to her, an ordained minister of God, is attending an APC rally where she's trying to inaugurate Tinubu torch bearers. I don't know the torch they are inaugurating that cannot find 40 children in Oyo State, and distributing cars to women leaders in the state house, when under Jonathan we even saw the then first lady shouting and screaming, even if it is to pretend to have empathy for children, anti-root children. It's what Nigeria is not able to protect. A country that cannot protect your women, cannot protect your men, cannot protect your youth, cannot protect, we cannot agree that children should be protected. What are you going to tell? When you say that they should begin to do this, we have repentant terrorist rehabilitation. When will we have rehabilitation for victims of kidnap? When are we going to set out funds to say people who have gone through this torture? We are waiting to see when government will come up with a policy to support them, to reintegrate them back into society. You can imagine the trauma that a person like this is living with. Anti-root, if Nigerians do not come together, mobilize and end this reign of terror we call a system of government, my condolences are with all of us, because everybody is a potential victim. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors. Tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The dead can no longer die. The next set of persons that this carnage will happen to are those of us who are alive. May we say enough is enough soon enough.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Hello, my wonderful people. As we have finished watching this interesting video, please, I want to see your comment, your contribution, your opinion in the comment section. Like I said earlier, let us do it constructively. Tell me what you think about this video that you have just watched, and also about the platform. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please remember to subscribe, put on your notification bell, share this video, and remain blessed.